Hello guys, welcome to On The Play TV. My name is Sebastian and today I gonna record the Qualifier Weekend Day 1 for you. Thought about which deck I wanted to play and there were a few which I thought would be quite good in the meta game, but in the end I wasn't sure and so I decided to stick to my own Selesnya midrange list. It's not as good in the meta as it was like a month ago, but seeing that there will be Strixhaven and the archives cards out in a few days and that the deck will change drastically, I just wanted to bring it to a tournament and see how it does. So let's see if I can manage to get 2 or 3 wins with it. If I can, I'm quite happy. I don't have the highest expectations, but I just want to have fun here today, so that's our first round. We're going second. I'm gonna talk less, of course, this time, seeing that I really have to concentrate. Queen. And it seems like my first game actually is versus a cool build, which I would be kinda happy with. A comparably good matchup for me. And it seems like that's the case. Here, of course, I gotta take a little bit of damage, can't do anything about it. Now I just gotta deploy my Aspirant, buff him up, and see how much damage my opponent can do his next turn. And after that, it's just gonna be Lovestruck Beast, and then other Lovestruck Beast or Collected Company. And I think it's not looking too bad at the moment. Of course, he still could have really good cards, which kind of screw me over. But if it's just a Bonecrusher Giant, I'm fine with it, I think. That's the moment where I jump. I have another 1-1. At the moment, it's not important for me to apply pressure. My priority is just to keep my life points high enough that I still have a chance of coming back in this game. Now I have to shock myself, which sucks, but at least I have a Lovestruck Beast. Now I don't want to see an Embercleave. If he has an Embercleave here, I think I just lose the game on the spot, but I can't really do anything about that, so it is what it is. Place a Questing Beast, which is painful. I'm gonna take 10 damage and I'm basically dead here. If I block a Voltaic Brawler, I'm just buffing up both Pelt Collectors, but I get 1 less damage, but I don't think it's actually worth it. I think I have to block here. And now I'm basically dead to anything that he has. I'm dead to a Stomp. I'm dead to a good draw. I don't feel it will be enough, seeing that he has running up ruins. If he has a red source, I'm also dead. I really need to draw some lifelink here in the next turns, but the only thing that really generates life for me here is a Great Henge, and I don't even have enough mana to actually play that card, so yeah. And that's lethal. GG, game number 1 for my opponent. In a matchup that should be good for me. Kinda sucks, but what you gonna do? We still have game number 2 and game number 3 here. I want the Gargaroths, I want the Knight of Autumn, and I want the Baffling. I don't need the Yashans. I don't think Redane is worth it in that matchup. Luminarch Aspirant also isn't the best, seeing that it dies to Stomp it easily. So I think I'm gonna cut 3 of those. And yeah, that's basically my sideboard plan. I expect him to bring in a Chrome and Wars in this matchup. He might have Shaper Sanctuaries, but he didn't see anything yet, which would require him to bring that in, so might bring it in, might not. He's definitely the beatdown here. That's not a great hand, but I think it's good enough. I have a Lovestruck Beast. It's just gonna be Heart's Desire, no turn 2 play, which kinda sucks, but can't really do anything about it. Lovestruck Beast, and then hopefully I can stabilize. No, Lana Valve would be nice. Okay, he has a Lana Valve. Not a great start. Here I play with Skyclave tapped, and I attack in. He won't trade, but doesn't matter. If he attacks with his Lana Valve, I'm happy. I think he's gonna tap it for mana, so it won't do damage anyways. Pelt Collector, okay. Land. And Bone Crusher? That's kind of a slow start. I'm happy with that. Now I just deploy my Lovestruck Beast. Hope that it holds down the fort for a few turns. That kinda sucks, but I have to block here. Can't risk that thing staying on the battlefield. Now I'm gonna play that land tapped, seeing that I want a double spell next turn. Just play my apparition, get rid of the Pelt Collector, and we're still at 20. The board is kinda stable, and we have a removal spell, a Council Flagship, and a Mammoth. I think we're in a good position here. If you know, just place a Bonecrusher Giant, we're golden. Yep. Totally fine with me. So now I think I'm just going for the flagship, removing the Bonecrusher Giant. And I think that's a good position to be in. I think that thing will come with haste, but then again he loses it to the Sky Sovereign flagship next turn, which wouldn't be too great for me. If he comes as a 4/4, I can just play Baffling End, so I don't see a problem in taking that 2 damage here. Gonna play Baffling End on the Spellbreaker. Play my Mammoth. Use a Mammoth to crew the flagship. And he gives up. Nice. So at least he made it to game number 3. I think my plan here is still right. He might bring in the braids now. He's thinking really hard about his sideboard decisions, which kind of makes me look as a casual and like he's taking this more serious. But on the other hand, I played so many games with the deck. I just know how I want to sideboard. I don't really have to think about it anymore. He might have a Reclamation Sage now. That could be an interesting call. That's again definitely a fine hand. We have a turn 1 play, we have a turn 2 play, we have a turn 3 play. He had to mulligan again, which of course I also like to see. And doesn't have a 1-drop, so I think we're kinda happy here. Doesn't have a turn 2 play. Has a Bonecrusher Giant or removal spell, of course, but I'm fine with that. Just gonna end the turn. If he wants to stomp my face or the 1/1, that's totally fine with me. Plays a cool Spellbreaker as a 3/3, which is okay. Of course, he does a little bit of damage, but we can't really do anything about that. And now the question is, do I want to just play Baffling End to get rid of a creature? Or do I want to actually play Skyclave Apparition to use all my mana? If he removes it next turn, he can't play anything else. So I think playing the Skyclave Apparition here is right. Questing Beast. So he had a nice start here, no question about that. But we're still at 11, and we're 1 turn away from deploying our Council Flagship, which is really strong. Especially if he just plays a Bonecrusher Giant and doesn't play a CoCo. If he plays a CoCo, this could get really close. Wow. Okay. So this kinda sucks, can't lie about that. Gonna play mana, and now the question is, what do I do here? I can't really double spell. And the flagship isn't giving me too much. If he has a land and an Embercleave next turn, I think I'm just screwed. I could go for a risky play and just play the Collected Company. Or I could go for the Lawstruck Beast and just accept that I'm fucked to an Embercleave. That is really close, actually. I think I'm gonna risk it. Go for the main phase Collected Company. I'm kinda behind here, I have to risk something. And that's not ideal, especially seeing that my Ooze can't do anything. So now it looks like I have to jump with my Mammoth, which sucks. Didn't play a land. I block here. Don't really have a choice. And he just ends its turn with, of course, a Screaming Collected Company. And another Baffling End, which isn't that helpful either. I'm 1 mana short of double spelling. My Council Flagship is short against the Questing Beast. But I'm kind of afraid that I just play Lovestruck Beast, he plays Collected Company, and I die next turn, which is kind of likely. But I still think it's the right play. No attacks, of course, end my turn, and now there's a CoCo, I guess. Yep, with a little bit of luck, he might not hit a good one. And he doesn't hit anything. Okay, that was so lucky. Play the Lana Valve. And just gives me the trade, okay? So now I think I still hold back the flagship. I just play the Mammoth, remove the Elf, get in for 4 damage. Burning Tree, not a problem. And Bone Crusher Charm, that's exactly what we wanted to see. Now I can play my flagship, get rid of a Bone Crusher, attack with a Mammoth, and that's it! Nice, we won game number 1. Got really lucky with it Collected Company, but sometimes you need to get a little bit lucky. Here we go, took a little break, got outside for like 10 to 15 minutes, and now we're here for round number 2. I'd love to play versus another cool deck. Chun, I think I know him from the ladder. I've seen that name, and I'm on the draw again. Kinda unlucky here. And we play versus Auras. And I think we have a good hand for that actually, so we're gonna keep that. Don't want to see a Thoughtseize here. And now it's kinda risky to expose my Llanowar Elf to his removal because then he draws a card, but what are you gonna do? With a little bit of luck he just drops a payoff card here. And I can instantly remove it, that would be great, but yeah, he plays Maya's Grasp. Thought that would happen, draws a card. And yeah, it's kind of what I expected. Playing another Llanowar Elf. But it's good that he doesn't have a Maya's Grasp left to deal with the Faircorns one. I kinda like that. Plays a Spirit Dancer, which is fine. Plays a Cartouche's Solidarity, which isn't great for us, but it's also not the end of the world. Take another damage. Now the question is, do I go for the Faircorns one? I don't think he only has one Maya's Grasp main deck, so it's kinda safe. And I would still have the Apparition left for his Lures. Seems kinda fine to me. So just gonna get rid of the Spirit Dancer. Make a 1/1 here. And it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine, I guess. I don't really like the matchup, but I also think it's not too bad. I play the Thoughtseize, which sucks, because now if we lose the Apparition, we don't have any more removal spells. That was also a point why I thought about playing the Apparition before I play the Warden, but yeah. Has another Spirit Dancer. Gonna drop my Lovestruck Beast, play the Temple tapped, and we're behind here. Now we can go off on the Spirit Dancer. I can jump block it 1 or 2 times without really having problems, but if I get a Henge or a CoCo here, I might still have a chance. Okay, now it's getting really hard. Basically, I need an Apparition, a Fairgrounds Warden or a Collected Company the next turn, or I'm kinda screwed. Still no Kaya's Ghost form, which at least is a little bit of a good news for us, I guess. And we get a lucky top deck. So now I can get rid of his Spirit Dancer. I still of course need something versus the Lures. We're still behind here, but at least we cleared a little bit of a spot and we have some game. Now the question is, does he have another Scram or another Core Spirit Dance? If he has it, again, we just fall farther and farther behind at this point. He also can get his Lures back, play it, and then the turn after he can give it flying. That's kind of fine, I suppose. Just gonna drop that. Use my activations instantly so I don't forget about them. Nothing to lose by holding them up. I can't bluff anything anyway, seeing that I have no cards in hand. There comes the Maya's Grasp, getting a Spirit Dancer back, drawing another card. I could get incredibly lucky and get a Collected Company, which could chain me back in the game, but I don't really see me winning here at the moment. Two Kaya's Ghost Forms. Okay, at this point, I think I'm just screwed. This gives me another draw. This also gives me another draw. Doesn't help too much, but at least we continue drawing. And that's just lucky. That's not so lucky, I guess, but yeah. What you gonna expect? Can't get everything. So now I kinda have to buff up my Fairgrounds Warden, so that he can't kill it with a Myers Grasp next turn and get another creature back, but it also means I can't attack. The Angelic Gift really is the problem, yep. Should clock me in 2 turns. Maybe he even has lethal now. Like 2 more enchantments and he might already be able to finish me this turn. Yep. And that's good game. No, we don't need the Ashans, we don't need the Redains. And I guess once more we don't really need the Aspirants. We definitely want the 4 Baffling Hands and we want the Archon of Emeria. We want Knight of Autumn. And then I could bring in Elder Gargaroth. But it's kind of hard to outvalue the deck. I'm not really sure about that. Normally, I think I'd cut 2 more Aspirants and just bring in the Elder Gargaroth, which can win you some games, but it only wins you games if you were already able to shut down his combos, so I guess it's kind of a win more card. I think I like this configuration. Could have maybe thought about it a little bit more, but on the other hand, why would you change the strategy now? If it worked for months, I don't think you really should second guess yourself in the moment where the tournament begins. Just go with what you know and what you feel comfortable with. I think he's gonna bring in his Hushbringers, which definitely will make the matchup much worse for me because it cancels out the Skyclave Apparitions and the Fairground ones. That's not a great hand, but it's fine, seeing that we're on the play. Technically, we can answer his turn 2 combo piece with a Fairgrounds Ward and at least win a little bit of time, which is fine. I'm just gonna drop the Llanowar Elf, seeing that the Ooze doesn't really apply that much pressure and it could just come in handy. That's fine. And now we even have a Baffling Ant as backup, and if we draw land, we have a Sky Sovereign Council Flagship, and if not, we have a Collected Company. This is kind of as good as a start as we could hope for. Of course, if he has a Myers Grasp, he has a Myers Grasp. Yup. Can't really do anything about that. Has a Ghost form. I could play Baffling Ant and deploy my Ooze, which would pressure him at least. Feels like the right call to me. I have to work through with Kaya's Ghost forms anyways, and I have to remove him out of his graveyard before I can bring Lurrus into play, so seems like the most time efficient play which I can make here. That's not great, but it's fine. Damn. I would have loved him to just play Lurrus here, to be honest. But on the other hand, if I draw land now, which I don't, now I kinda just have to use Collected Company and hope to get something useful, which in all fairness I got. Can get rid of his Scram, which definitely helps. I can technically play Create Henge next turn into Ooze, which would help. Maybe I just play the Henge and remove his enchantments before Lurrus can come down. Just getting rid of Kaya's Ghost form and the Angelic Gift here would be great. Both things which I don't really want to deal with. Okay. Our Collected Company is fine, but I don't really need it right now. Gonna take in with the Lustruck Beast. I think he jumps here. Yep. Then I'm gonna get rid of the Ghost form, and I'm gonna get rid of the Angelic Gift. He might be kinda confused that I let him keep Myers Crest so he can kill my one Ooze. But if he kills that Ooze, I just play the other one and get rid of the rest in his graveyard. And then I feel like I'm still fine here. Having a Great Henge together with a Collected Company, of course, is just really strong. Now I think he's gonna play Myers Crest on my Ooze. That's the play that I expect at least. Yep. Gonna take 3 damage here, but that also doesn't matter, seeing that I gained much life. Now I just play the other Ooze. Play my Sky Sovereign Flagship. Get rid of the Lurrus. Attack in with my Lovestruck Beast. And now I'm starting to feel really good about this. Gets rid of my graveyard hate, but at the moment he doesn't have anything in the graveyard, which really bothers me, so I don't really care. But this is of course now beginning to be a lot of damage. I think I'm just gonna jump here with a Skyclave Apparition. I don't really care about the 2/2 which he's getting. I don't want to take 11 damage here. And now I think it's time to actually play the Collected Company and hope for a win. That was a bad CoCo. Can take away one all the glitters, which helps. Can play a Spirant here, draw another card. Doesn't really help in that circumstance. Guess it helps a little, gives me jump blocks. Just gonna buff up my Lovestruck Beast. Use those two to crew my ship before. Attack him with a ship. Get rid of the 2/2. And as long as he doesn't draw Angelic Gift here, I think we're fine. Yeah, but that's game number 2 for us. Nice. And with a little bit of luck, we could win game number 3. Now I'm wondering, doesn't he have the Hushbringers? Did he just don't draw and doesn't he have 4 of them? I mean, if he doesn't play 4 Hushbringers in his deck, our matchup just gets that much better. With 12 removal spells, it's possible to handle that deck. I could keep that hand, but I don't have any interaction. I don't think I can pressure him out. I could go turn 1 Heart's Desire, turn 2 Ooze, turn 3 Lovestruck Beast and hope to draw something, which actually gives me interaction. The question is this hand better than what I expect out of an average hand in this matchup? I could get flooded, but it's only a 26% chance to actually draw any more lands. I think I have to search for some interaction here. And that's just way better. Here, I'm gonna give up the Henge. Just need 1 more mana in the next 3 turns, draw steps, and I think I'm not in a bad position. Gonna play the Mammoth here tapped, just to not get mana screwed, of course. Hushbringer would be backbreaking, and yep, he has it. And now, like, 3 cards in my hand are just useless till I draw a Baffling Hand. I need a Baffling Hand or a Skyzone Flagship, but I guess he's gonna bring his Hushbringer out of range of that. These 2 guys are useless, so I won't play them. Just gonna play my Valve as a potential jump blocker. Try to raise him, but that won't work. Like, versus a core Spirit Dancer, no way in hell. If I get the ship or a Baffling Hand, that's interesting. I would have buffed up the Hushbringer with that. But on the other hand, most likely he didn't play that matchup very often, so he doesn't really know what it's about, which makes total sense. I think I'm taking the 5 damage one time here, so that I have a chance of drawing the ship and actually... Okay, mate, okay. I think I'm buffing up the Llanowar Elf here because chances are I have to jump block next turn. If it's just 5, we're gonna take it one more time. I think I have to be greedy here. And he has a 3rd, okay. Yeah, well. Gonna go for these 2 guys. He's down to 6. If he just plays Lewis into another Hushbringer, it's still not looking good, of course, but at least we might still have a chance. This is really close. And no, he tries to get it out of range of the ship, which is definitely the right play. Now, of course, I'm at the point where I'm jump blocking. Going down to 4. And I think now I'm in a good spot to actually win this. If I attack in with a flagship and my creatures, he has to block with a Hushbringer while I'm killing the Lurus. And then I still have a Skyclave Apparition. So how do I do this? I'm crewing for Last Strike Beast because it can't attack anyways. And then I kinda have to attack with everything. If I attack with everything and he can't block the Council Flagship, he has to block with both his ground creatures. And the Hushbringer can't even trade. So I'm getting rid of the Lurus. He has to jump block 2 times here. Now I'm playing the Fairgrounds one. And if I jump with it, I'm not losing anything, or he doesn't get anything back. And now if he doesn't get Angelic Gift off anyways, I think we just win. But he's gonna draw a lot of cards here. Can't do anything but sit here and pray that he doesn't get the Angelic Gift and doesn't get a Maya's Grasp. If he doesn't get these 2 cards, I win. So he still needs like 2 more auras here. And he just draws one after another, okay? So now this looks like game. If he has another aura, yeah. Good game. Really close match. I think I played it to the best of my abilities. Couldn't really do it any other way. And so we had 1-1. Game number 2, that was a close loss. I think I drew very well. Like, I really got lucky there, and then, well, stuff like that just happens. Now, hopefully, I can lock in the 2-1 before I take a break here. And I'm on the play, which is a good sign. Not a great hand, but I think it's playable. We don't play versus Chunt, which is nice. Yeah. Not really a reason to be unhappy here, I suppose. We play versus Red, which is nice. Now I expect my Aspirant just to die here. But not dropping anything also makes no sense. So yeah, it is what it is. And he has a Burning Tree. But no follow-up. Okay. So that's just fine. Moment Courier and nothing else. Okay. So shocking myself for 3 here of course hurts. But it gives me my flagship next turn. Because I get the lands off of Fiashan, which is really important. Gives me a little bit more tempo, which I also like. I'm just gonna be reasonable here. Buff up my Ashan and hold back. Trying to get as big as possible wall in front of him. Yeah. And I think I'm kind of in the sweet spot. Can just drop my flagship. Get rid of his emissary. And that's game number 1. Easy. Nice. Now again, we're getting rid of the Ashans. We're getting rid of the Danes. I definitely want the Gargaroths. I think I want the Knight of Autumn. I'd like the Baffling Ants, but then what am I cutting here? I guess the Aspirants aren't that great. And I could bring in some Baffling Ants for them. And then, yeah, just trying to get a big wall as early as possible. Try to outvalue him in the late game. I'm just gonna sit here now and wait, seeing that. I feel like it's a little bit of a mental edge if your opponent is close to losing and is nervous and he didn't have a great game 1 and he just has to wait. Okay, 1 minute has to be enough here, I guess. Now he's on the play, which against mono red, of course, kind of changes the equation. And that's not a good hand, but seeing that I only have 10 mana, but I can't go down to 5 here. Won't get better, I think. So yeah. No 1-drop, which we love to see, of course. No 2-drop. Okay, this is getting interesting. Now if I play my Scavenging Ooze, I think I will just lose it to a Bone Crusher. I'm not gonna play it. If he doesn't play anything, I'm fine. If he wants to go for my face with Burn, fine with me, yep. Successfully played around that, feels good. Place a Burning Tree into Bone Crusher, I suppose. Wow, okay. Now this is getting ugly. And now I think I just play the Mammoth to hold back his Burning Trees. And then next turn I can play 2 Baffling Ants. Seems like the right call to me. Of course, if he just has Embercleave here, he just has Embercleave, then I can't do shit about it. Lightning Strike would also suck. Yeah, and I guess that's just an Embercleave, and if it is, I lose, but yeah. 2 Burning Trees and Embercleave, that's just too much to handle. Removing what I can here, but I think I'm already too far behind. If you know just equips the Embercleave and attacks, I'm going down to 3, and he still has a Faceless Haven activation open, so I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to handle this. A very lucky Collected Company could get me there, but everything else seems kinda unlikely. Now if I shock myself, I can play these two, remove the Annex, he equips the Emissary, goes in for 6, I jump with the Ooze, I take 4, which means I only go down to 1. But I go down to 1 if I just play the Apparition. So, gonna get rid of the Annex. Have no question in that. And then, feels bad, but I think I'm just supposed to pray here. I don't really see myself coming back from this. Yep, okay, and that's just game. Yep, and that's 1-1. That was kinda painful, but at the same time, I don't really know what I should have done differently, so... Let's think. Questing Beast doesn't seem so good. Redain would make all his lands come into play tapped, but on my turn 3, and then as mono red deck, it doesn't really slow him down that much. I'm gonna run it back the way it is. As I already said, if I'm playing this deck wrong at this point, it won't change today. That's a great hand. Gonna snap keep that. Okay, fine. Not great, but fine. Okay, now this is just looking great, obviously. I mean, my Collected Company is kind of useless, which sucks, but if I can deploy the Henge next turn and just gain life. Okay. Seeing that I still have a Baffling Ant, I think I play the Henge anyways. And I think I want to raise here. Seems kind of counterintuitive versus that deck, but if I do 5 damage and he does 3, and it looks like from the next turn on I'm gonna be gaining life, I think that has to be the right call. But he has no braid, okay. At least if I'm lucky, that kind of cost him his turn. We are ahead in the race, but we are out of ammunition, so... He has an other Ferocodon, okay. Just gonna continue to attack. Play another land, and hope for a land next turn, which actually gives me Miriam. I think if I can cast a Miriam's Call next turn, I should just win. I don't really see what Mono Red can do against that. And he does nothing again. Yeah, that should be game. Nice, 2-1. Kinda happy about that, of course. Fine run till now, interesting games, close games. A nice way to spend a Saturday. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Here we go, round number 4. Dream is still alive. I'd be super happy if I just could log in 6 wins. That would be like the dream scenario. Would mean that you don't have to qualify for the next one over the ladder, and we are on the draw. The hand also isn't ideal, but it's fine. We're not playing versus Jumped once again, which also feels good. We're not playing versus Auras. Lacking a little bit of interaction here, but we have ramp, we have some plays to make. And we play versus Control. Okay. Now the question is, can I actually afford to play around Sensor here? Doesn't feel good, but I think I kinda have to. Just gonna go for the damage here. I don't know what Savage I could ramp into next turn. Expect for a Sky Zone flagship, but if he has no creatures or planeswalkers out, that's not that good anyways. So just gonna do my damage. I kinda have to expect a board wipe the turn after the next. If I play the Mammoth and he has a board wipe, I'm just fucked. But if he doesn't have one and I play the Mammoth and I get out the Henge, things are kinda looking good. I think move number 1 is attacking in here. And now if I play the Mammoth and he plays a Sensor, which means he doesn't have a board wipe. But if he just lets it resolve and board wipes, I more or less lose the game on the spot. This sucks. And it feels very bad to play something here, but I don't really see my choice. He lets it resolve, which means I think there's gonna be a Wrath of God next turn. Yeah, after that draw there should be. Yep. And there's the Wrath. Gonna play a land, gonna play a Mammoth, and now if he just plays Teferi and bounces my Mammoth, I think this game is over. That's a hard matchup. Birth of Maleficus is fine. Now I need a land. I get one, which is great. And now I just have to pray that this resolves. And it does. Interesting. Gonna take in for 5 here. I kinda expect it to resolve. And now I'm gonna play one more land Valve to get a little bit of pressure on the board. And if he has another board wipe, if I give up a land Valve to draw a card, I think that's totally fine. Other Henge isn't great, but overall this went better than I expected, so I don't think I have a reason to complain here. A hard cast Shark Typhoon also would be kind of worrisome. That's a Teferi, okay. Goes for the draw, which makes sense. Getting my 2 life here, of course. And now I'd love a collected component. I guess that's also fine. I think we're already at the point where I don't go for a Teferi, where I just go for face. And getting the Teferi down to 3 wouldn't have been that useful. And I kind of expect him to have an overboard wipe here, but I think you have to be greedy in this matchup. You just don't have that many choices. But I don't think I'm gonna commit to Yashan also. That kind of feels like overkill to me. We're threatening a lot of damage here. Bounces the hands, which is okay. We have a second one. There comes the Wrath. Kind of expecting a counterspell here, but I don't really see myself having a choice. Thins out my deck, and also I won't draw another hand next turn, which is also fine. Or maybe he even has an other board wipe. And at this point, If you're getting like board wipe 2 times, you can still come back. If you're getting board wipe 3 times, most of the times you're just out of it. And that is again for 6 mana. And a Gravedigger's Cage behind it. Yeah, we're kind of locked out of this game. So I need 3 more cards. I could go without the CoCos, I suppose. If he plays Gravedigger's Cages anyways. I mean, they're really good if they stick. As a reload after a board wipe, it's a really great card. But they also kind of more likely to miss if you bring in these expensive cards. But if I don't have to do anything against the cages, I think I can cut one more Apparition, bring another Gargaroth. I guess it's fine. We go first, of course. Not the greatest hand ever, but I'm gonna keep it. Gonna be greedy here. Play Velano Wells. And now if I get an untapped land, it's just great. If I don't, it's also not the end of the world. Gravedigger's Cage, okay. We don't really care about that. Do I even need another ramper here? At the moment, to be honest, I don't think I do so. Just gonna play Heart's Desire here and turn. Next turn I can play Redain, which if he doesn't have any interaction, will delay his board wipes for 2 turns. But under these circumstances, I'm gonna play Round Sensor and then play Redain next turn. Again, playing around Sensor, and it might surprise him more that he can't actually board wipe. Then if he sees it that turn, then he can just play Baffling End, return it his next turn, and then still be able to board wipe on 4. So he goes to bottom, which I really like to see, of course. It's also nice to see. I'm gonna go for Redain. And there's an Absorb. Okay, this really hurts. I kinda have to play the Mammoth here. Do a little bit of damage, but now if he has the board wipe again, we are just in a world of hurt. But he doesn't have 2 white sources, which means I think he doesn't have a board wipe yet. Cycles. We're at 6 damage. That's a Baffling End. Gets rid of its Byron instead of the 3/3, which is kinda interesting. Now the question is, do I commit the Ceratops already? To be honest, I don't think I'm supposed to do that. I think this way I add enough pressure, and I still have it as kind of a surprise effect. There comes the second white mana. Teferi, okay. Okay. Now what's the play here? If I go for the Ceratops and give it haste, I have 1 mana of lethal, so I don't really want to do that. I also don't want to give him time, but I actually think I don't really have a choice here. I just try to get him as close to range where I can actually finish him with a surprising Shifting Ceratops as possible. He could have settled the Wreckage, which would screw me over. He could have a Cast Out. He kinda has to have something here. These 2 are lethal. Could just be a Shark Typhoon. I guess it's the most likely thing. I think I'm just going all in here. If he has a Settle the Wreckage, I lose. But then I just took that risk. Can't wait forever. I don't have to go in with Velano Wells because 1 removal spell won't be enough. Nice. Of course, as every time, it will be much harder on the draw. But I don't think I really want to change something here. I'm kind of scared, to be honest. Which is kind of sad for my mind setting. The first 3 games, I just really didn't care. Now I'm at 2-1 and feeling like there could be something in it for me. Like maybe. You never know. And that's not a keepable hand. That's also not great. But I guess it's a little bit better. If I can resolve a Vivien, it can be very big in these matchups. Questing Beast, of course, also is a good card. But having no 1 and no 2 drop in this matchup really smells like problems to me. Shocks himself, I guess it means he has an absorb. But if he has an absorb, I'd much rather have him use it on the Mammoth than on the Beast or the Vivien, so I don't really think I have a choice here. He didn't use the 3 mana, which feels good. Baffling Hand feels bad, no question about that. And now I have to deploy a Questing Beast as an absorb into Sensor, which really would have hurt, but seems like he doesn't have it. Now he could have a Teferi, which again would be a big problem. There it is. He's gonna bounce my Beast. Yep. And I guess Vivien is harder for him to remove than the Gargaroth, so gonna go for her. Think I'm going for Reach. Now, at the moment, he doesn't have a White Castle, which would give me a reason to actually go for Trample. And he could have Shark Typhoons. No, this isn't looking great. Craftiger's Cage is totally fine. I don't play any CoCos anymore, so whatever. I guess I'm going for a Gargaroth. Going for another creature. But now at some point I gotta have to deal with his Teferi, and that won't be easy, especially if he has a board wipe. He just wins another turn. I mean, we only played 1 for 1 basically, seeing that these two were for free. But still. Yep. There's the Wrath, which also makes total sense. The only problem is that he could still have an Absorb here. If he just plays a Cast out now to get rid of my Vivien with full control, I'd even be kinda happy. No, I go for Trample. I think she's high enough that actually won't get much of a problem. He knows that I have a Questing Beast. What am I supposed to do here? All I can do is just go for it. Hope that it sticks. Kinda expected it not to be honest. No, I'd have to play Redain. And he's just getting farther and farther ahead, of course, with his Teferi activations. If I can somehow kill this Teferi with my Ceratops next turn, I might still be in the game, but at the moment I think it's even likely that he just has another one, so shocks himself again, which could mean a big Shark Typhoon. But doesn't really matter anyways. I'm going for haste, of course. If I know attack with a 3/3 and he has a Shark Typhoon, I just lose her, but doesn't matter anyways, so I get rid of the Teferi, he's down to 14. And somehow I still feel like I still could be in the game. I mean, that's kinda optimistic, of course. But yeah, you never know. He's definitely searching for something here. Could be another board wipe, could be another Teferi. Yeah, Breath of God, that hurts. Gonna spread the threat here, seeing that 2 activations of my Spirant won't make my Beast big enough to actually deal with a full mana Shark Typhoon which he plays, so no real reason to buff it, I suppose. He just draws card after card after card. That's the hardcast Shark Typhoon. And this means now things get really, really hard. We attack in, of course. Goes down to 8, which I guess at least is something. But if you know as a Teferi, I think the game basically is just over on the spot. He will get a 5/5, bounce my Vivien. And there it is. Called it. He doesn't even do that, okay. Time definitely won't be an issue in this match. He could look like a total noob now, but let's see, let's find out. It's cast and enter the battlefield, so it won't work anyways, but it will at least shuffle away the land from the top of my library. I can't really do that, but it also means I just lost. That's just, with the scrying and the extra draws and everything, I just won't be able to manage that. Keep the card top, which really makes me nervous here. If I was him, I would just bounce the Vivien and the game is over. But he doesn't, okay? Does he have a cast out? I'm not sure, to be honest, what's exactly happening here. Wow. Yeah, now he's just getting off. He drew 13 cards more than me. And I'm gonna draw a land next turn, which, as sad as it is, just means good game here. And I'm out. It's the 2-2. No way I'm coming back from that. No reason to play on and get myself frustrated, so let's go for round number 5 and hope for one more win. And this time I go for game number 5 directly. I don't really feel tired, I don't feel tilted. I feel like I'm playing alright. Maybe not perfect, but alright. I'm not frustrated or anything. No, every game is the last game, and we're on the draw again. Which at some point is getting annoying, to be honest. I won't play Velano Valve here, because I feel like he's going to remove whatever I play and draw a card. Or at least if I play Velano Valve, he's gonna do that. Now if he just plays with a card which the Spirit Dance or something like this, of course I'd be kinda sad that I didn't drop Velano Valve, but in the end of the day, it is what it is. Gonna drop my Aspirant. And I don't think I'm attacking here. Just trading life, I don't think benefits me, to be honest. There comes the dead rate, now he gets 2 cards off it. Even better. And the 40s. Okay, yeah, this game's over. Basically. I mean, I could top deck like the luckiest man in the world, and then there might still be a chance, but normally there should be no way out for me here. He's just too far ahead. I play Love Struck Beast, which if I get the hedge off next turn, it's kinda good. But even then, I don't think it will be enough. I'm gonna have to start jump blocking now. So the Spirit Dancer will just get big, and then at one point, if he finds his flying enchantment, I'm just gonna lose to it. At least it's the most likely outcome. Still doesn't have protection on it, so I still could top deck something which helps here. The Enchant isn't that. So I'm playing the Henge, play the Elf, it's jump blocker next turn, and I draw a card, which helps me find more theoretical answers. But I'm kind of afraid that Fairgrounds Warden can return too late. He attacks in, I jump. He gets his Slivers. But he doesn't have a Maya's Grasp, he only has a dead rate, okay. So that's, till now, not the end of the world. I can go for a Fairgrounds Warden. At least get rid of the first Spirit Dancer. The question is, do I play Redain's Shield or do I play a Shan? I think I play a Shan to just see more cards. And wow, okay. So we might still have a little bit of fight in us here. And now he has a second one? Seriously? That would be kinda mean. Because then he draws like 4 cards. He doesn't, thank God. That would have drawn him 4 cards and given him back a Spirit Dancer, which would have been beyond fair, I feel like. Not the best, but also not the worst. Draws me 2 cards. More chances for an answer. It's not an answer. So I think I have to play Views. And try to get rid of his graveyard, which isn't much anyways at the moment. Play another Llanowar Elf. Draw more cards. I think I'm buffing up my Fairgrounds Warden to keep him out of dead rate range. And attack in with my Asham. Which gives him a card. Yeah, sucks. Didn't think about that. Gives him 2 cards actually. But on the other side, what am I supposed to do here? Scram. Strong. Kaya's Gulfer, which is also really strong. If I get my ship resolved, I can kill Lurrus. And after killing Lurrus, I can at least get rid of the ghost form. Or I thought I could. Now this is getting complicated. The flagship really isn't helping me at the moment. Because everything I remove, it just gets back. So I think I'm leading with the Mammoth here. And I play another Mammoth. And that helps. That means I can exile his Kaya's ghost form. Which means I can get rid of his Lurrus the turn after. Which still is better than what's actually going on at the moment. So I think I'm just chilling for 1 turn and then try to finish the game next turn. And there comes the Angelic Gift. Yep. Sucks. Draws him 2 more cards. Another chance of actually hitting protection for his Lurrus. Spirit Dancer isn't a problem. We can handle a Spirit Dancer. We can't handle all the glitters. I don't want to give him the card and give him the ability to replay his Eidolon, but on the other hand, I'm even giving him 2 cards. I don't think I want to do that. Okay, now I just need to draw as many cards as possible to find an answer for Lurrus. That's not it. That's also not it. And now I don't see myself drawing more cards, so... I guess I'm playing the flagship. Question is, what do I remove here? I guess I'm going for the not equipped Eidolon. I buff up this boy. I buff up this boy. Now I guess I'm kinda at the point where I have to start dealing some damage. Do I want to give him a draw step? I don't think I do, to be honest. Just gonna kill the 1/1, do a little bit of damage here. It was kind of what I was expecting, of course. And that's just so much card draw here, of course. Yep. Yep. I mean, I'm putting up a fight the best right now I can, but doesn't feel like it's gonna be enough. But it wouldn't really make a big difference, I guess. The moment I exile Lurrus, I can kill it off with my ship. So that wouldn't even be the problem. The problem is I need a Fairgrounds Warden or I need an Apparition. And I already played 2 of them at least. 3 of my 8, okay. And I think I only played one collected company, so I still have some cards in the deck which technically could help me out. At this point I might be able to actually deck him. Sounds kinda insane, but he doesn't have that many cards left. If I just kill the Eidolons, that's even more card draw. If I get rid of the Lurus somehow, that's like 8 to 10 cards he's gonna draw. What is he gonna get rid of now? He's gonna target that. Which is fine, it still survives. Okay, it might not survive. But it's 4 more cards he's drawing. I'm gonna have to give up my ship here, which sucks. But it's better than dying, I suppose. And now I might be able to have enough jump blockers with my Miria's cards for the rest of the game. Down to 11 cards. He has to discard like 50 cards here. I have 11 mana, which means if I draw it, I could play Miria's Call plus Collected Company. I don't get it, which isn't great, but also not surprising. Gonna play Vimiria's Call. Gonna play the Lovestruck Beast just to draw a card. And end my turn. Everything is indestructible except the angels. And if he wants to kill the angels with his enchantments, he's gonna draw more cards. That's a problem. Yeah, mate. Draw more, draw more, draw more. Yeah, I won't block with Spirit Dancer, seeing that I don't have to. That's not a collected company. But I have to play the card. I have to draw cards here, I need an answer. That was big. Okay. And I'm 1 mana off actually playing my Maria's Call. Wow. That is painful. So what do I have to get rid of here? Everything that kills my blocker. So that... Oh no, that was a fucking misclick. I'm so stupid. Now I feel like the time pressure and it's getting to me. Maya's Grasp has to go. Dead Rate has to go. And I think now I'm off 1 mana actually getting rid of everything that I need to get rid of. Heal's Punishment has to go. I think I'm still losing here, but that's the best I can do. Yep. And that's good game. And he actually has no more cards in the deck. And I actually won because he decked himself. That's so insane. That was like really insane. And way too close for comfort. I think I have to rely on my removal and on my baffling ants versus his Hushbringers. But being up 1-0 feels okay. That's not a good hand, but I think I'm gonna be greedy and keep it. Just seeing that I have a collected company. And I could draw myself into it, exactly. That was nice. No question is, does he have the balls to deploy his threat instantly? Yeah, he does. Damn. I think we're still, if the CoCo hits a little bit of something, I think we're still looking fine. Yes, Grasp isn't great, but it's also not a real problem. Doesn't have another land. Now I even have a safe way to get rid of a Spirit Dancer. Do a little bit of damage, which of course isn't that important, but getting rid of a Spirit Dancer was important. Especially before the Hushbringer dropped. Especially under these circumstances. So now, seeing that I don't have a removal for the Hushbringer, simply put, I'm the beatdown here. I have to try to get some damage through. Exert as much pressure as I can before this one big lifelink creature gets out of reach from me. That's first strike, okay. But it's still not too big. Gonna get rid of the favor. Still have two attackers which actually work. So, trying to race on here. Next turn I can play Maria's Call if he doesn't interact with my board. That is annoying, but also not the biggest problem in the world. I can afford to play with one tapped. Play my call. Take in for 8. I think this is looking good. Yep, okay. Kinda expected that. Now if he has another land, he doesn't. Nice. So now, if he blocks like this, he doesn't have to block with his lures. He blocks him, goes to 9. So what does he do here? If he just blocks here, he still takes 11. So like this, I think he has to block with both. Which is what we want here. 2 jump blocks, and I think we win the game. This time for real. Not enough. Like this, it's enough, yeah. Like this, you survive one more turn. And we win. Nice. 3-2. And I guess I'm going for a break now and see you guys in a bit. So let's see what round number 6 brings us. And we're on the play, and we play versus Auras again, I guess. That's not the best hand ever, but I think it's fine. And being on the play is quite important in this matchup. If he doesn't hit the Thoughtseize to get rid of our apparition and plays his payoff turn 2, I think we're in a fine spot. Gonna start with Heart's Desire, of course. But then I don't think I will commit views turn 2. Just begs to be removed, and I don't really want that. And this seems to be Rogues, and not all of ours. Okay. Things kinda changed here, pretty fast. And of course I'm just gonna try to have tempo. Okay, so he's playing Death Shadow, I guess. Interesting games here. It's down to 8. Okay, now I'm just confused. I'll be honest here. Goes down to 3. First I'm gonna take in, of course. Then I'm gonna play Redain, because that's just a 2-turn clock here. Despite everything else. So there has to be a Death Shadow here. Everything else would be so strange after seeing how aggressively he got himself down in life points. And that's game number 1. Looks like Reckless Arcanist build with Death Shadow in it. Interesting. So I guess I don't need Redain. I think I'm getting rid of 2 Aspirants. Getting in the Baffling Ends. And I might just leave a 2-year chance in here now. To get a better read on what he's actually doing before sideboarding too much against it. Questing Beast, of course, could be good with his huge Death Shadows. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know what he's playing. I think I want the Baffling Ends if he plays Death Shadows, where are really good. And he has Croxas and stuff like that. I feel like I also want the Oozes. I definitely want Fairgrounds Warden and the Apparitions. Could cut a Lost Struck Beast, but it doesn't feel right to me. I'm just gonna run it like that and see if I get a better read in game number 2. That's not the greatest hand I've ever seen, but it's fine. Thinking about his turn 1, which means, okay. I guess I don't need the Heart's Desire here. I just want to drop with land so that if he has a 4th he can take it away from me and strand me on 2 mana, which wouldn't be great. And Pyromance also isn't great, but it's also not the end of the world. Not yet, at least. If you know, of course, has a claim the Firstborn and the Village Rights or something like that, we're already in trouble. But I don't see how I can play around it. No, the question is, does he really have exactly that? Seems like it. I think this has to be Village Rights. Yep. Called it. The worst combination possible, but what are you gonna do? No, 4th seriously? Off the top? Good for you, mate. Trying to be mana efficient here. Okay, and I think this has to be a Death Shadow build. Or a really strange Arcanist list. Yeah, okay. Death Shadow Arcanist. Now I can get rid, Fatal Push, and of the Abrade. But then he still has theoretically claimed the Firstborn, which isn't great for me, or 4th, but 4th wouldn't be that bad, to be honest. If I get my hand committed to a battlefield, it's not that bad. I think the Fatal Push has to go. And then technically I might not even need to kill the Abrade, Seeing that if I get my Scavenging Ooze up to 4, he'll be fine. Here's another one, okay. And this game is over. I won't be able to come back from that. No, he's gonna fatal push again and be Aspirant. If I was him, I would have attacked with the 1/1s too, but I don't think it matters at this point. And this game is over. Now at least I know what I'm up against. Seeing the kind of removal that he's packing. Alagagorov also wouldn't seem to be too bad. Seeing that Yashan basically only stops him from playing Village Rites, which is a good combo with Claim the Firstborn, no question about that. But I think against that deck, I want the Alagagorov. Just seems like a really solid blocker, which he should have problems overcoming. You know, this could be the last game of the day. I really need to focus up. That's definitely fine. If I get a Henge out, he might have an Abrade, of course, but if he doesn't, I feel like I'm really far ahead. And now he has 40s every game? Are you serious? Oh, okay. Take everything back. He doesn't have it for once, which is kind of nice. I don't feel like already deploying views. I think it will get better at some later point. I don't like how this is looking, to be honest. I'm really afraid of Claim the Firstborn here. Or Thoughtseize. I think he has to take the Henge here. I don't see a way around it. His graveyard isn't too stacked yet. Still kinda manageable. First things first. Gonna take with a Lovestruck Beast. Kinda think he has to jump here. Great. And I guess I'm getting rid of a Stitcher Supplier. Using my mana. Getting a little bit of life. And getting rid of the Croxa, of course, is really important. Okay. Now what do we have? Village Rites? Oh, just getting your... Okay. I don't think I block here. Might be wrong, but who am I to know? And this is just lucky. I have to be honest here. This was just lucky. This is so good. Now I can get rid of a Croxa. Can get rid of the Arcanist. And then I don't think... Nah, he still has a Death Shadow. But at the moment it's only a 3/3, so... I actually think I'm more comfortable with him having Death Shadow than with him having the Arcanist here. Gets rid of it instantly again. Questions, does he have another land? If he doesn't, I still win one more turn of time, which would be nice. But I don't think this is looking good. I really need something hard hitting here now. just gonna use all my mana. And I think I keep the Temple Garden in hand, just to make him guess. But at this point I really need my flagship, or a collected company, or a henge. Not another Croxar, that was important. And that's just so lucky. That's such a good draw. No, I'm just going to pressure. At some point, I give him another Stitcher activation, which sucks. Okay. What the fuck is this guy doing? I don't really know. But at this point, I don't really care if I win like that. I'm super happy. He just seems to be tired, to be honest, which I can understand in this kind of circumstance, in this kind of tournament. When your pressure is up and you really want to win and you play many games and you're already kind of tilted. But he would have had jump blocks for days and he just threw 4 of them away. No, he needs a fatal push or he loses? He has a fatal. He even has another fatal push. Okay. Now it's game on, I guess. Oh, and he gets the Death Shadow off the top. That were insane draws. And that should be game. He has 4 blockers. He can't block the Apparition if I attack with everything. I lose the Gargaroth, he loses his board, and I get a 3/3, I guess? Which would be lethal? And I win! Nice! Still alive. And on we go. One more win, and I don't have to ladder this month to make the next MIQ. I'm kinda tired, but at this point I guess my opponents at 5 wins will also be tired, so... And here we go. That's too good to ship it away. Kind of afraid it's a control deck. It's elves. Okay. I guess versus elves, my hand is kinda good, but being on the draw is a real big disadvantage. And this one is too fast. He will make a token, no matter what I do here. They're just gonna play views. And I'm gonna block here. Doesn't feel good, but okay. And he has the land, he just waited to play it. Smart. Now the question is, what is more important for me to remove? The Clan Caller or the War Master? I guess first it's the War Master. Trying to stop this flood of tokens. The next turn I can get rid of another creature, and then the turn after that I can get rid of another creature, so we're still in the game. Here again, I think that's kind of an easy call. Make the 1/1 token, get rid of the Clan Caller. Just try to stop his synergy somehow. Now attacks. And I'm 1 turn away from playing my Council Flagship. And that's great. Now I can start pinging away his stuff, beginning to apply pressure. I'm very tense right now. That's totally fine. I can just remove that next turn. I could go for the collected company, but I don't see any reason to do that, to be honest. I can just remove it with a flagship while applying pressure, and as long as he just draws one card each turn. If he doesn't draw a CoCo, I think this game should be more or less locked up. Six mana for a Visionary, okay. It's not ideal, but it's also not the end of the world. Avalano Valve, again, this is game one. Nice. Up one game. I don't want those, I don't want those. I definitely want the Baffling Ends. And I guess I want the Archon. There's no real reason to play an Ooze here, so I think I brought out the Oozes and bring in the Gargaroths. And let's just hope that we can dodge the Archdruids. If we can dodge the Archdruids, I think we have a good chance here. That's a good hand. Especially the Archon is really strong in that matchup. Okay. And that's also not too bad. I mean, he ramps a lot, but it's not like he played anything yet which I really have to be afraid of. Yep, there comes the strongest card in his deck, but I can get rid of this, so I guess we're kind of still fine. Also, he missed the land drop. I won't attack here, just gonna be patient. Wow, that's strong. But still we can handle that. Especially like that. We can handle that. Technically he can play Collected Company, which isn't great. Gonna attack in first. Force him to use his CoCo before I actually use mine, or before I have to remove something. Just forcing his hand. Targeting the Sentinel here, because now he has to do it now, or he doesn't have 4 mana left. Yep, that's a Collected Company. Now the question is, do I play my own CoCo, or do I just play the Skyke of Apparition to play it safe and remove the Imperious Perfect? I guess it's a more safe way to do it. He's only at 3 mana, so I'm not that afraid of the Elvish Warmaster abilities at the moment. And he can only play one spell here. It's close. Now it's really close. If I play the Mammoth, crew my Sky Sovereign flagship with 6, 8, 10, 11, I'm 1 off lethal here. I think I'm not supposed to block here. I go for the Collected Company and hope. Only hit 1 creature, great. And now I'm pretty sure I lose. Yeah, he has 6 attackers. I have 3 blockers. Yep. Okay, mate, you got me there. Just got overrun. Happens. I know this could be the last game. That's not a great hand, but it could be really good if I'm drawing a little bit lucky here. I'm getting tired. I'm not sure if it was the right decision to actually keep that. It seems really greedy. Yeah. We're gonna see. If I now get a Last Struck Beast off the top into a Great Henge or something insane like that, I'd be very happy, but that's not worth removing. Not yet, at least. Again, 1 and 4 cards in my deck still is a land, which means basically I should draw something here. I will have up to 5 mana, so... Yeah, well... Sometimes you get lucky. Kill the clan caller and be happy. Yeah, no, I'm just drawing like a young god. Shepherd dies. I get in for 6 damage. Yeah, he's just tilted, but I'm not even mad at this point. I made the next qualifier. I'm at 6-2. Why would I complain? Here, of course, I'm just attacking in with everything. Making a 3-3 so that I could potentially in the next turns crew my Skyzone flagship without problems. And that's it. Thank you, Tenchi, for your kind support of my run here today. So here we go for the last time today. Basically, I should be so happy, but it kind of feels like all or nothing now. And here we go. We're on the play. And again, it versus auras, it seems like. Seems to be the theme of the day. At least we have a removal spell. I'm gonna keep this one. He goes down to 4. This is already great, simply because it means it's kinda unlikely that he has a Thoughtseize here. I mean, of course, technically he could have it, but... And he has the Thoughtseize on 4 cards. Feels bad. Shocks himself, which means he has... Okay, this is just... a little bit of a joke here, to be honest. Goes down to 4 and has it all. Of course, I now play here Shan. Get 2 lands out of my deck, and at the very least, if he doesn't have interaction, I can play my Henge next turn, which is better than nothing, but it also won't win me the game. We only have 23% lands left in the deck, and with that, he can delay the Henge. I think I'm jumping here. I might not have another play next turn besides another Yashar. And he drew another Thoughtseize, are you kidding me? Okay. At least that helps a bit. Now he could start drawing some lands, I really would appreciate that. Just another scram. This one gives me a Fairgrounds Warden out of my grasp range, even though I think that's not that important anymore, seeing that he only can have one scram on the field at a time anyways. So it's not that big of a deal, but it enabled me to at least make 2 damage here. He just doesn't draw any lands, seems like. Now he got one. I can't block here. And here I need some interaction, something. Well, I guess that's something. Okay, I'm fine with that. I just don't want to see him go to the air here. Everything else is fine. That's also not nice, of course. I can block here. I have indestructible, doesn't matter. And we draw another land. Now at this point this is getting kinda annoying, to be honest. And I still don't have lethal. You know, I'm gonna fake interaction. That's not too bad. We don't want to see Maya's Crest, we don't want to see Heliod's Punishment, and we don't want to see Angelic Gift. Everything else is totally fine here, and if he doesn't have it now, he won't have the mana, I guess, to do it. Okay. Now he would need a land and the enchantment. And that's game. I win round number 1. I know we won game away from actually doing it. Again, Yashan goes out, Retain goes out, the Baffling Ends come in, the Archon comes in, the Knight of Autumn comes in. Even though I'm not even sure if that's right, to be honest. I think it is, but I might be wrong. Besides that, like in the games before, I think that's just the right configuration. Could have been worse, and we won on the draw. Did we? Or was it on the play? I'm not even sure anymore, guys. I'm totally lost. I'm just tired. I think he definitely gonna bring in the Hushbringers, like always, and they are kind of a problem. Okay, here we go. Please, God, let me avoid a game 3. I'm feeling sick to my stomach already now. And that's just a great hand. Damn. And it's just getting better. Come on, just play something. And it's a Hushbringer. And I even have the fucking answer in hand. This feels so good. So Spirit Dancer, fine. Kaya's Ghost Form, fine. I mean, not great, but still. Basically, next turn, if he doesn't kill the Llanowar Elf, I can play Baffling Ant and Fairgrounds Warden and end it all in one swoop. So I think I'm gonna be greedy here. But I guess I should have done it main phase. Damn. And now he can't play anything anymore. Gonna remove a Spirit Dancer. I take in with my boys. Drop. Well, no, I can't drop another line of course. There's an Archon in play. But that's way more of a problem for him than it actually is for me, so. There's another Kaya's Ghost Form, which isn't great, but on the other hand, he can't play anything more. No, I'm just going for the pressure. Remove another scram. Still have a baffling end up. This is looking really good. Okay. Easy. It's down to 6. And I think I can play this as a land. Don't see why it would hurt here. He has another Hushbringer, okay. Let's be honest here. It's kind of a problem. I already spent most of my baffling hands. And it gives him lifelink and another jump blocker. But I don't think he can attack here. But he goes for it, okay. Seems kind of greedy to me, but what do I know? I hit the land, because of course I do. Today is a perfect day. And I go in with everything. He goes down to 2. And if he doesn't throw a minus grasp, you think I just win. Yep, that's not enough, I think. Now I have to think. I don't have enough damage here. Sad but true. I simply don't. I might next turn. But then again, his Hushbringer is going to get even bigger. But I can't attack here. Still not over. Still not over. Yep. Now he gets Vigilance. Goes up to 6 life. And now I still might lose to an Hushbringer if I don't get a lucky baffling hand. Which, today, to be honest, I might get it. The Fairgrounds Wall wouldn't trigger here. So, no point in actually getting that thing. No blocks here, of course. Damn it, I was so close. That helps. Now if I attack and he blocks here, goes down up to 14, takes 7, 9, 10, 11. That's not enough. Yep, and that gets him out of Council Flagship range. And he's basically at 20 life. Yeah, first strike, yeah. No way. Damn it, just one fucking life point too much. Or maybe not. I might be the luckiest player in the whole history of Magic the Gathering. Now if I attack in here, I do 7 damage. And basically I can't attack in with the Archon, so I guess I have to wait one more turn and hope for land next turn. Net my life, of course. End my turn. Here takes in, which is obvious. And now I think he's dead. If I draw a land, he's definitely dead. Yep. And I think that has to be enough. First strike damage, when I eat with views. Get a Spirit Dancer for some damage. Eat my own Mammoth for some damage, and that should be it. I fucking win! 7-2 guys! 7-2. Best run of my fucking life. Already in Magic. I'm so happy right now. And that means you guys gonna get another video on the next day. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm just so proud. Played my own deck, stayed true to my roots, and got there. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, dropping a like, maybe leaving a comment. It would really make my day. I'd be happy about that, and see you on day number 2.